أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to another one of your G2 classes. I hope and pray that today everyone is doing well, and Jazakumullah to everyone for joining this class on time. So just looking at the agenda for today, as you know, today is Friday, and our formats on Friday is a bit different because we have the breakout room session in place. So as always, we're going to start off our class with an opening dua. And then you guys will get a pop-up on your screen asking you to join a breakout room. Please make sure that you accept the invitation, because if you accept it, you enter a smaller room with fewer students, and therefore it increases the chance that you're called onto the mic so that we can hear your recitation, okay? So make sure when you get the invitation, the pop-up, that you accept it. And also make sure that you have connected to the computer's audio, because if you haven't, then we will not be able to call you to the mic and listen to your recitation. So as always, as I said, we're going to start off our class with an opening dua. So co-host, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
May I please have a student on the mic for an opening dua?
G2151.
Yep, G2151.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Okay, may you repeat after me? I'll lead you into the recitation, okay? Perfect.
Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
MashaAllah, well done. So repeat after me, please. ربنا تقبل منا
ربنا تقبل منا
تقبل منا
تقبل منا
إنك
إنك
أنت السميع العليم
أنت السميع العليم.
Well done, mashallah, very nicely recited. And could you please read out the English for me as well?
Our Lord, accept from us, for you are all hearing, all knowing.
Yeah, well done. Jazakallah khair.
Al-Baqarah chapter 100.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, mashallah, very nicely recited. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 128. Okay, so as you guys know, in the breakout room session, our aim is to call as many students on the mic so that we can hear how many of the rules you have understood and how many there are that you need to still go over, okay? So make sure that today in your recitation, when you're called onto the mic, that you apply all the rules that you have learned, and make sure that there is limited background noise, and actually make sure there is no background noise, so that we can hear you properly when you're reciting. Okay, so may I please ask the breakout room coordinator now to open up the breakout rooms for me, please?
Yes.
Okay, so we're just going to wait for the students to go to their breakout rooms, and then inshallah we can start our main session. Okay. Perfect. Seems like most of the students are gone. So we're now going to start with our first surah. Over this week, you guys went through Surah Ad-Duha and Surah Al-Abatha. So that's what you guys are going to be going through today, inshallah. And again, a quick reminder, just as I said before, make sure that when you're reciting, you include all your rules, you apply all your rules, so that we know how well you guys are reciting, and so that we can help you out accordingly. Okay, so co-host, may I please have a student on the mic for our first breakout room recitation?
G2 121.
Yep, G2 121. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, may you please start off with Dawood and Tasmiyah, and could you please start reciting the surah from the start for me, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى والجيرات جير لك من لولا.
Mashallah, well done. Very nicely recited, I have to say. You beautifully said your ha sound because you knew it was one of your throat letters. You very nicely elongated the letters. There were only one or two places where I thought that you elongated it for longer than you should have, but not to worry. That's something we will go through right now in a second. And beautiful qaf. You give a very nice qaf sound there as well. So well done. Overall, I'm very happy with your recitation. But there are just a few things that I will point out, okay? So the first thing, when you're saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, when I was saying this, you must have noticed at the ra, I gave a round mouth. It was like a thick round mouth. So could you try saying this whole verse for me again, but make sure that you include the round mouth of the ra inside for me, please?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Well done, mashallah. Much better. I can already hear the improvement, but that will just require a bit more practice. But don't worry, you're smashing it so far, so well done. When you were reciting, let's look at this verse in particular. What sign is this? Do you know what the sign is called?
Mushaddad.
Shaddad. Well done. It's a shadda. Any letter that's got a shadda on top, you call it a mushaddad. So well done for pointing that out. And what do you do if there is a shadda on top of a letter?
You elongate it for 2 seconds.
Okay, so what you do is you put pressure on it, and you can put pressure on it for maybe 2 seconds if you want. But the main thing with the shadda is you have to put pressure on it. Irrespective of what stroke is on top, you have to put pressure. Now, if, as you can see, for example, this lam has got a shadda, so we can see that there is a lam mushaddad. What's the lam mushaddad got on top?
Fatah.
Well done, it's a fatha. And how long do we elongate a fatha stroke for?
1 second.
1 second. So can you see, even though there is a shadda there, we are not elongating it for 2 seconds. Why? Because the fatha is a stroke where you can only elongate for 1 second. So make sure that you don't elongate that, but put pressure on this letter. So repeat after me. Wallayli.
Wallayli.
Well done. And as you saw, if we were just looking at this like from, if we say that there is nothing after it, okay, and it's just a lam, we will only elongate it for 1 second. But remember, this is a ya sakin, and we know we're joining the lam mushaddad to the ya sakin. This is one of your lean letters. Do you remember your soft elongation rule?
No.
Okay, no worries. Soft elongation is that if there is a vowel sakin, or a ya sakin, so sakin means with a jazm or a sukoon on top, and the letter before that has a fatha, you softly elongate for 2 seconds, okay? So did you see when I was saying wal-layli, could you hear when I was joining these 2 letters together, I softly elongated that, okay?
Yeah.
So let's try that one more time. Wal-layli.
Wal-layli.
Well done. And again, there is a shadda here. So what do we need to do if there is a shadda? Do we put pressure on it?
Yeah.
Well done. So let's put pressure on it then. Rabbuka.
Rabbuka.
Well done. And this one here, this letter is a kha, all right? If the dot is on top, you need to give a kha sound. But if the dot is at the bottom, okay, here somewhere, it's a jeen. So when you were reading, I think you got mixed up between a kha and a jeen. Not to worry, it's just to do with the dot and where the dot is placed. So remember, if it's a ha with the dot on top, then it's going to be a letter kha, all right? So let's try that again. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ.
Wal-akhiratu.
Well done. خَيْرٌ لَكَ.
Khairul laka.
Well done. So remember the dot is on the top. So that means it's a kha. And remember a shadda again. What do we do if there is a shadda?
You put pressure on it.
Well done. Very nicely said. Now you know the rule well. So when you're joining the 2 letters together, if it's a mushaddad letter, then you have to put pressure on it. And just looking at this one here, this is an alif. It may not look like an alif, but it's actually an alif joined to a lam, okay? So if there is an alif, all right, and it's got a dhamma on top, when you're joining it to the vowel, this vowel is now going to be a vowel mad. Why? Because there is a vowel sakin letter before that has a dhamma on top. So when we're joining it, we're going to elongate it. How long are we going to elongate it for?
2 seconds.
Well done. So let's repeat after me. Minal ula.
Bidalluda la.
Ula.
Ula.
Well done. MashaAllah. Very nicely recited. G2 121. MashaAllah. Your recitation was great. Just remember your shadda letters and your ra with a round mouth. Okay? Perfect. Well then. Jazakallah khair for your time. Take care. And I hope to call you onto the mic in upcoming lessons. Jazakallah. Wa alaikum salam. Okay, co-host, may I please have another student on the mic?
G2241.
Yep, G2241. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you today? G2241. Assalamu alaikum. Okay.
She's another student. G2231.
G2231. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good too. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, well, may you please start off with Dawood and Tasmiyah and start reciting from this verse for me, please.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولسوف فيؤتيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فأوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى
Okay, well done, mashallah, G2231. Nice recitation. You tried very hard to recite each letter and each word correctly, and I could see that within your recitation. So well done for trying as hard as you could. There are just a few things I would like to talk to you through, and then hopefully by the end of that, you'll be able to recite that a bit more fluently, okay? So let's just look at the first thing here. What letter is this? Do you know what letter?
Ain.
Ain, well done. And is this one of your throat letters?
Yes.
Yes, well done. The sound of the ayn comes from the middle of the throat, okay? So remember, when you're joining the ya to the ayn, you need to make sure that when you're reciting it, that I can actually hear the ayn sound. So repeat after me. Yu'tika.
Yu'tika.
Well done. I could really hear the ayn sound now. Well done. Keep practicing in your own time as well how to make the ayn sound, okay? Well done. Very nicely recited. And this letter here is a dod, all right? We cannot give it a normal sound of like fatha, like we can't say da. We have to say do. We have to give a round mouth, okay? So try saying this for me. Fatarudo.
Fatarda.
Okay, make sure with this letter that you have to give a round mouth, okay? So one more time. Fatarudo.
Fatarda.
Okay, now let's go for this one more time, but make sure that you give a round mouth, okay? Round mouth on this letter. Fatardo.
Fatarda.
Well done, mashallah. Now I could really hear the round mouth. Even though I cannot see that you're making a round mouth, it's clearly evident to someone that's listening to you, because now they can hear, wow, they're giving a round mouth, okay? So remember, round mouth, you can easily tell if someone's giving a round mouth or not, even if you're not looking at them reciting, okay? So well done for that one. Let's just look at this next word, next verse here. These two letters, right, have got fathas on top. Now, does that mean that I'm going to join these two letters together?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the rule. There are only two signs within the Arabic sort of Arabic language, so Arabic grammar, that join letters together. So you have a sukoon, okay, which looks something like this, and you have a shadda. So here's a sukoon as well, and you have a shadda, which looks something like that. That's a shadda, all right? So make sure with the shadda that you're putting pressure, and that with the jazm, you're not putting pressure. So these are the only two signs, jazm and shadda, which cause two letters to join. So if there is a fatha, if there's two letters with fatha, or like a vertical fatha, or like a mat saghir, then you need to remember that you're not joining those letters together. They are individual letters, okay? So when you were reciting, you accidentally joined the kaf with the ya. Remember, if it has a sukoon or a jazm on top, or if it's got a shadda on top, these are the only two instances where you will end up joining letters together, okay? Since these two letters have not got any sukoon or a shadda on top, that means we are going to read those letters individually and we will end up not joining them together, all right? So if you could please repeat after me. Alam yajidka.
Alam yajidka.
Yatima.
Yatiman.
Fa'aba.
Fa'awa.
Well done, mashallah, very nicely recited. And could you hear when we were reading this, we read these two letters as individual words and letters, okay? So we didn't join those two letters together, all right? Could you hear it?
Yes.
Well done. And when you're joining the with the kasra underneath to the ya sakin, how long do we elongate it for?
1.
Okay, so you elongate it for 2 seconds, yeah? Whenever there is a ya sakin, okay, let's just look at ya sakin as an individual one for now. And the letter before that has a kasra. So if a ya sakin comes with a kasra before, then you have to elongate it for 2 seconds. Similarly, like I said to the student before, if we look at this example right here, there is a vowel sakin if it comes with a dhamma. Okay, if the vowel sakin comes with a dhamma before, then you have to elongate it for 2 seconds. So with the ya sakin, it's a kasra. With the vowel sakin, it should be a dhamma. And with a blank alif, if there is any more examples, I'll definitely show you. If there is a blank alif, so an alif with no strokes on top, and it comes with a fatha before, then you elongate for 2 seconds. All right, so with an alif, it should have a fatha before to elongate for 2 seconds. And this is your normal elongation rule, okay? This is going to be called a ya mad. What is it going to be called?
Ya mad.
Well done. This is going to be called a vowel mad. Yeah, what's it going to be called?
A waw mad.
Well done. So remember, we knew that this was a vowel sakin only, but because of the stroke that was before, it was a dhamma, this vowel sakin turned into a vowel mad, and we ended up elongating it for 2 seconds. Same thing is here. This was a ya sakin, but the letter before that only had a kasra underneath, okay? So that one now changes to a ya mad, and that's the whole reason why we elongate. For how long?
2 seconds.
Yes, well done. 2 seconds. Great. And did you notice when I was saying this man, we knew there was a tanveen on top, yeah? I gave it a half nasal sound. So I said, yatima. I did not give a clear noon sound. Did you hear it?
Yes.
Yes. The reason for that is we have to look at the next letter. What's this letter?
Fa.
A fa. And is fa one of your throat letters?
No.
No, well done. And because fa is not one of your throat letters, we are going to end up giving a nasal sound, sort of like a half nasal sound, half noon sound, sorry, okay? If, for instance, the letter was one of your throat letters, then we will end up giving a clear noon sound. But that's not what's happening here. We've got a letter that is not one of your throat letters, and therefore we've ended up hiding that sound of the meme, or hiding the sound of the noon when we're saying the meme, okay? So that's the whole reason why we said that. And just last thing with this verse, I wanted to point out, if there is an alif with a vertical fatha and a vowel with a vertical fatha, we have to elongate them for 2 seconds. But you must not join these two letters together. Why should you not join these two letters together?
Because
Let's look at the strokes. What is this? What stroke do these both letters have on top?
sakin.
Okay, this is a vertical fatha, okay? If it had a sakin, if it had a sukoon, which looks like this, or a shaddal, which looks like this, then you would end up putting pressure on it, yeah? Or joining the letters. But because there's no jazm or no shadda on top, we are not joining the letters. We are reading them individually, okay?
Yes.
Perfect. And just this last thing I wanted to point out here. There is a lam with a shadda. What are we doing with a lam that's got a shadda on top? What do we do if there's a letter that has got a shadda on top? Do you know?
Nasal sound.
Okay. So if it's got a shadda, we put pressure on it, yeah? G2
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. If it's got a shadda on top, we have to put pressure on it. And now, this sign here, do you know what the sign is called?
A mad kabir.
Well done. It's called a mad kabir. Very nicely remembered. Well done for that. It's a mad kabir, but when you're joining this letter to the lam, you're not going to say dollan. You're going to elongate the sound for good 4 to 6 seconds and then join it to the lam. So repeat after me. Dollan.
Dalam.
But make sure you put pressure on the lam. So let's try that one more time. Dollan.
Dalan.
Okay, well done. Mashallah, very nicely recited. G2231. Very nice recitation. Keep practicing, and inshallah, most importantly, go through your shadda letters. Okay, just practice your shadda letters, and that's a good way to start kicking off for a fluent recitation. Okay, but well done, mashallah, very nicely recited. Thank you very much for your participation.
Jazakallah. Can G2232 read?
G2232, is that your sibling? Perfect. Yes, I can hear your sibling as well if that's fine. Where is G2232 there?
Yes.
Perfect. Assalamu alaikum, G2232.
Walaikum salam.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Wait, sorry, just 2 seconds. Okay, perfect, yeah. Right. So perfect, alhamdulillah. Now we're going to start off from here, okay? Inshallah, we're going to start off from here. Can you please start off with Dawood and Tasmiyah and start reciting from where I pointed, yeah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Well done, mashallah, very nice recited. And could you please start off from here for me, please?
ووجدك داء أنا ووجدك ضالا ألم إلى فلا غلا غن
Okay, so this is an alif and you're joining the alif to the ghain, yeah? فأغنى.
فأغنى.
Well done. Let's do this. I will ask you to recite up to here, yeah? But let me just go through verse by verse. Before I do that, okay. Right, before I do that, let's just quickly talk about a few things before you start reciting after me, yeah? This is, do you know what letter this is?
Ain.
Ain, well done. And is Ain one of your throat letters?
Yes.
Well done. So when you were reciting, you accidentally gave it a dal sound. And I do know why you could, because there is a dod right here. So that could sort of confuse you a bit, but don't worry, it's an ayn sound that comes from your throat. So try saying this for me. Ailan. Perfect. Well done. And now when we said ilan, for now we said ilan, we gave a full noon sound, a clear full noon sound. But if you look at the letter after it, what letter is there? What letter is that? It's a fa, yeah?
Yes.
Well done. So it's a fa. And is fa one of your throat letters?
No.
No. So what do we end up doing to this here? Do we give a full clear noon sound or do we hide the sound of the noon?
A full sound.
Okay, so if the letter after it, after tanween, is not one of your throat letters, we end up giving a full, if it's not one of your throat letters, we end up hiding the sound of the noon, okay? If it was your throat letters, then you would end up giving it a clear noon sound. But fa is not one of your throat letters. And that's the whole reason why we are saying the sound of the tanween, but we are giving a half sound, like a half nasal sound, okay? So repeat after me. إِلَى فَأَغْنَى.
فأغنى.
MashaAllah. Now I could really hear that half sound of the noon there. So well done, MashaAllah. Very nice nasal sound given. Now, could you please also recite this following verse for me? This one here.
فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر.
Well done, mashallah. Very nicely recited, and you very beautifully elongated that sound as well. So I'm very proud of you for doing that. Well done. Remember, this letter here is an alif. Okay, it may not seem like an alif, but with the lam, have you noticed when there is a lam and there is an alif joined to it, the shape of it looks a bit different, right?
Yeah.
For example, here as well, can you see? It's a lam, but the shape of an alif is tilted. And
Yes.
here it's also joined to the lam, but again, the shape is bent. Can you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So just remember that even though it's bent, it's an alif, and it's still there. You have to consider that when you're reading. And whenever there is a blank alif and the letter before that has a fatha on top, what do? We
elongate it.
Well done. We elongate it. And do you know how many seconds we elongate it for?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Well done. Very well said. So we're going to elongate the fala for 2 seconds. So repeat after me. فَأَمَّا
فأما
اليتيم
اليتيم
فلا تقهر.
فلا تقهر.
Well done. And did you notice we were giving a jerking sound on the qaf?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well done. Is qaf one of your calcula letters?
Yes.
Yes, well done. That's the whole reason why we're giving a jerking sound. All of your calcula letters, right? If they have a sakin on top, we end up giving them a jerking sound. And qaf happens to be one of your calcula letters. So remember, if there is a qaf with a sukoon on top, so a qaf sakin, you have to always end up giving it a what type of sound?
A jerking sound.
Well done, well done. A jerking sound basically means a sound sort of like a bouncing sound. So rather than saying taqhar, you're saying taqhar, okay?
Yes.
Hear the jerking sound. Well done. And if there is a letter that's got a shadda on top, what do we do? It's got a shadda. Do we put pressure on it?
Yes.
Well done, yeah. So with a shadda, we always put pressure on it. Remember that, okay? Okay, well done. G2 mashallah, it was very nicely recited, I have to say. Keep practicing your letters with a shadda. And when you're reading, you can take your time when you're reading, okay? It doesn't matter if you're reading slow. In the start, your recitation will be slow, okay? But you gradually increase the speed the more you practice, okay?
Yes.
That speed increases.
I've got a question.
Yeah, sure.
How do we get added into the WhatsApp group chat?
How do we get added into the WhatsApp group chat?
Because we're not in it.
You're not in it. Okay. Sorry, 2 seconds. In charge. Are you there in charge discipline?
Assalamu alaikum. So, yes. So to answer the question, if you can ask your parents to email us your number, and you can also please, if you can specify that you are not in the WhatsApp group, then we will try our best to add you to the WhatsApp group. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Thank you very much. In charge discipline. The email is right here, ukquranclass@gmail.com. Okay? If you email on this address, then you can make sure that you tell them what your number is, and then tell them that this is our ID. We've not been added into the WhatsApp group chat, so could you please add us? And as in charge discipline said, we will try our best to add you in. Okay?
Okay.
I'm very sorry that we weren't aware that you weren't in the group, but inshallah we will do that as soon as possible. Okay?
Okay. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair. Take care then. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz. Okay, may I please have another student on the mic, please?
G2242.
G2
242.
242. G2242. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, may you please start off with Dawood and Tasmiyah, and inshallah we're going to start off reciting from here, okay?
From where?
From here.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث.
Okay, well done. Mashallah, very nicely recited G2242. Very beautiful recitation. I could hear you elongated the sound there and you tried to say every word with a lot of care. Well done for that. There are just 3 things I just want to point out for these 2 verses that you recited. First is that before I do that, let me just question you a bit so that we can jog your memories a bit, which will help you remembering the rules a bit more. If there is a shadda on top of a letter, what do we do? Do you know?
What?
If there is a
What
shadda,
did you say, sir?
if there is a shadda on top of a letter, what do we do?
You harden it.
Well done. Well done. Very nicely said. You harden it. So remember to harden on the sound. And you know what this sign is called?
No.
Okay, no worries. So that is called a mad kabir. Yeah? What's it called?
Mad kabir.
Well done. And the sound of a mad kabir, if there is a letter which has got a mad kabir on top, we elongate that letter for around 4 to 6 seconds, okay? So at least you have to elongate the sound for 4 seconds, yeah? So remember to always elongate that sound whenever you see a mad kabir. You did that beautifully, but I just wanted to point that out again for anyone who was still confused between a mad kabir and a mad saghir, okay? So well done, you gave good sound there. Now, here, there is a blank alif, yes? Can you see it?
Yes.
Well done. And what's the letter before that got on top?
Oh, wait.
So it's a fatha, yeah?
Fatha?
Well done, well done. So if there is a blank alif and the letter before that has a fatha on top. So if there is a blank alif which comes with a fatha before, then we have to elongate the sound. And do you know how long we elongate the sound for?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Well done, very nicely said. So now let's just quickly try and read these last 2 words, but remember to elongate the sound of the lam. So repeat after me, please. فَلَا تَنْهَرْ.
فلا تنهر.
Well done. And when you're joining the ra to the ha, or the ha to the ra, actually, let's say that, we can't say har, we have to say har. It's a quick joining thing, remember. If it's a jazm, if it's just got a jazm or a sukoon on top, we join it very quickly, and we don't elongate the sound. The only time when you're joining a letter to another letter and you're elongating it is when there is a mad kabir. Okay? Did you see in, where did the example go? We had an example here. 2 seconds. Let me just find an example quickly. Here, for example, here, when we're joining the dot to the lam, we're elongating the sound of the dot first, and then we're putting pressure on the lam. So we're saying ضَالًّا. Okay, we're elongating the sound. And the whole reason why is even though we're joining, we end up elongating because of the mad kabir. That's the only instant where you can do that, all right? So make sure that you try not to elongate that. Just say tanhar, yeah? G2242, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect, okay. So we don't elongate that. Now, if we look at this next verse, you tried your best to give an ayn sound, but do you know where the sound of the ayn comes from?
The middle of the throat.
Well done, very nicely said. So the sound comes from the middle of your throat, and so therefore, when you're saying it, make sure that the sound is clearly evident to everyone that that sound is coming from the middle of the throat. So try saying this for me. بِنِعْمَةِ.
بنعمتي.
Well done. Try not to give a hard sound, not ni'. That is a hard sound, okay? It's just a normal ayn sound. You cannot just try and mix up the sound with the an alif, all right? So let's try saying that again. بِنِعْمَةِ.
بنعمتي.
Well done. But just remember, next time that you recite the surah, that the ayn, you cannot say بِنِعْمَةِ. That's wrong. That's an alif sound you're giving. Alif and ayn are two different sounds, even though they're both letters of the throat. The sound of the ayn comes from the middle of your throat, and the sound of the alif, well, that one comes from the bottom, more towards your chest side. So that's why they have two different pronunciation voices or sounds, all right? Therefore, make sure that you sort of give like a jerking sound here, but through the middle of your throat, because ayn, that sound comes from there. Okay, understood?
Yes.
Well done, perfect. And just this last letter, can you try saying this last letter for me? Do you know what letter this is?
Asa.
Well done. Now, a lot of people try and mix up the sound of the th with the sa. It's a seen. Seen is very different. It looks different from a th as well, and it has like an S sound to it. With a th, you're getting the tip of your tongue and you're placing, or you're touching it to the top teeth, but the edge, the bottom of the top teeth. So, فحدث. Can you try saying that for me?
بحبث.
Okay. One more time. This is a fa, okay? Even a ba has got one dot, but the fa, the appearance of it is a bit different. So one more time. فحدث.
فحدث.
Well done, mashallah, very nicely recited indeed. You very nicely understood the rules and you were able to incorporate them within your recitation pretty quick as well. So well done for that, mashallah, very good recitation. Keep practicing and then inshallah, you will get a bit more fluent with your recitation as well, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Jazakallah khair for your participation. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Okay. So co-host, now please have another student on the mic.
G2241.
Yep, G2241. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today? G2241, can you hear me? Okay. Co-host, maybe please move on to another student.
G2135.
G2135. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah.
Good, alhamdulillah, good to know. Okay, may you please start off with Tabud and Tasmiyah and start reciting from the start of the surah for me, please.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Abasa wa tawal. Allah. Anna ja'ahu al la my wama yud di kala lahu yazai yazai.
Okay, G2135, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. MashaAllah, G2135, very nice recitation. You tried your best to recite all the words correctly. But there are again, there's always areas for improvement, so don't worry, it's fine. Even if you make mistakes, that's how you learn from them. So don't worry, let's just look at the first verse, okay? Which is right here. What letter is this?
Ain.
Ain, well done. And the sound of the ain comes from the middle of the throat. So try saying this for me. Abasa.
Abasa.
Well done. Try not to mix up the sound of an ain with an alif. An alif, the sound is very different. It's a. But with ain, it's a. Can you hear the difference?
Yeah.
Well done. So try saying the sound from the middle of your throat for this one, okay? So let's try that one more time. Abasa.
Abasa.
Well done. MashaAllah, very nicely recited. I can really hear the sound of the ain. Well done for that. And if there is a letter that has got fatha dhamma kasra on top, how long do we prolong it for?
1 second.
1 second. Well done. Well remembered. So it's 1 second timing. So when you're reading it, doesn't matter if you try and read slow, but make sure that it's only given 1 second timing. That's why when we were saying sa, I was not elongating the sound. And the same thing with the ta as well. It's got fatha on top. So we are only giving it a 1 second timing. So let's repeat after me again. Watawalla.
Watawalla.
Well done. Well done. Very nicely recited. And as I mentioned earlier on, it's a sukoon or a tashdeed that cause two letters to join. Okay? If this letter has got a sukoon on top, which it does, that means we are joining that to the letter previous. Okay? So when you're joining the alif and the noon together, you're now going to ask yourself, am I meant to give a clear noon sound? Okay? Or am I meant to hide the sound of the noon? And the way we decide is to look at the next letter. What's the next letter here?
Jim.
Jim. And is Jim one of your throat letters?
Yes.
Jim is not one of your throat letters, okay? Jim, it's a kha that's actually one of your throat letters. So don't worry if you do get confused between them. Just practice that one. That will come with a lot of practice only. Remember, Jim is not one of your throat letters. And therefore, we're going to end up hiding the sound of the noon. Okay, we're not giving a full clear noon sound. We're not. We're only hiding the sound of the noon. So if you repeat after me, well done. And what's the sign here?
Mad Kabir.
Well done, well remembered. It's a mad kabir, and we elongate the sound for 4 to 6 seconds. So when you're reciting this verse, make sure that you elongate it for at least 4 seconds, okay?
Okay.
Well done. And when you were joining, okay, these two letters together, you read this as an individual letter and joined the alif to the lam. Now remember, alif has got no strokes on it. No fatha dhamma, kasra, no vertical fatha, vertical kasra, or inverted dhamma. There's no stroke there. And therefore, we are going to ignore the sound of the noon. Okay? We're not going to say the sound of the noon. There is actually an analogy that I normally use in my lessons when you're talking about vasl, which is joining letters together and which ones you leave out. But because of the shortage of time, I can't do that today. If that happens in the future lessons, I will try and explain it to as many students as I can. But remember, since it's alif, this alif doesn't have any stroke on top, right? You're not going to join the alif to the lam. Instead, you're going to join the ha to the lam because it's the ha that has got a stroke on top. Can you see the stroke?
Yes.
Well done. So you're going to join the ha to the lam. Okay, let's try saying that. Qul a'ma.
Qur'ana.
Okay, let's break that up now. Qul a'ma.
Qur'ana.
Well done. And just next time when you're reading, try and give the sound from the middle of your throat, okay? If we look at this part here, this dal has got a sukoon on top, yes? Is dal one of your calcula letters? Yes, well done. It is one of your calcula letters, and therefore we need to give a jerking or a bouncing sound, yeah? So repeat after me, please. Yudrika.
Yudurika.
Well done. So could you hear the jerking sound when you were reading it? Well done. Yes, we did. I could hear it too. So it's a kalkala letter. It's got a sukoon or jazm on top. That means you're going to end up giving it a jerking sound. And again, any letter with a shadda on top, any mushaddad letter, you're going to end up putting pressure on it. So if you could repeat after me, yazakka.
Yazaka.
MashaAllah, well done. Very nice you recited G2 135. I could really hear you tried your best to remember the rules, and you did. You answered the questions correctly, okay? So just practice is all you need. Keep practicing, and don't forget you have to stay consistent, basically. Try not to miss a day of recitation. Always daily do 5-10 minutes of trying to just practice the rules or practice the surah that we teach you, okay? So well done for your participation today, G2 135. And just keep practicing that rule, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well done, G2 135. Thank you very much for your participation. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay. So now that everyone's here, well done to all the people that came on the mic today. And well done to those who came on the mic in the breakout room session. In today's students, I could hear that they were trying to apply the rules as much as they could. Remember, that's something you should do all the time, okay? So well done for all of the people who came on the mic today. Those who didn't, inshallah, next time you will be given priority. So we will try and call you guys next time. But just before ending the class today, let's just quickly look at the homework. During this week, you went through Surah Al-Abasa and Surah Al-Duha, okay? So make sure you practice these two surahs over the weekend. And when you do, make sure that you apply all the rules that you know, okay? During this week, we learned extended elongation. We know that a mud stroke or a vertical fatha or vertical kasra, any vertical stroke, we give it a 2-second sound, okay? A 2-second timing. We elongate the sound. But there are some instances where the sound is stretched out for longer, okay? And there are 2 occasions when this happens, okay? The first one is a mad saghir, okay? It's a medium-long elongation, and you elongate it for 3 to 5 seconds. You normally find it on top of a ya, not a ya sakin, but like mud letters, all right? Ya sakin is one of your mud letter. Or you can find it on vertical strokes like this. So that's where a mad saghir is. You elongate it for 3 to 5 seconds, and it almost looks like a wave. So that's how you can remember mad saghir. Mad saghir will look like a wave, okay? And the second type of elongating sign that you learned was a mad kabir, and it's the extra long elongation. You elongate the sound of a mad kabir for 4 to 6 seconds, okay? And again, that is also placed on top of mud letters or on top of letters which has got vertical strokes on top, okay? So 4 to 6 second elongation for a mad kabir, okay? It's slightly longer than a mad saghir. And you also went through the rule of assimilation, and in Arabic, assimilation is also known as idgham, okay? You learned if there is a ba mushaddad after a noon sakin or a ya mushaddad after a noon sakin, you will end up giving it a 2-second nasal sound. Similarly, if there is a ba mushaddad after a tanween or a ya mushaddad after a tanween, you will end up giving it a 2-second nasal sound as well, and you will end up removing one of the strokes of tanween. Remember, tanween is double stroke, like double stroke of fatha, double stroke of kasra, or double stroke of dhamma, okay? So that's the homework. Make sure you do the homework. You try your best to apply all the rules. As always, before ending the class today, I'm going to call a student onto the mic to help me recite this prayer. So co-host, may I please have a student on the mic?
G2115.
Yep, G2115. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, could you please start off with Awud and Tasmiyah, and inshallah I will lead you into the recitation, okay?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم.
Well
Oh,
done.
Allah have mercy on me through the Quran the Great.
Okay, Jazakallah. Jazakallah very much for your participation. You recited very nicely. Jazakallah, take care.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair. Allah Hafiz. Okay, well, that's it for today, guys. Jazakumullah to everyone for attending today's class. Remember, if you were not called to the mic today, you are going to be called to the mic in the upcoming lessons. Keep practicing your rules and keep practicing the surahs as well. Make sure to apply all your rules, and inshallah, I hope to see you in another class. Until then, take care of yourselves. And yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.